ladies and gentlemen, earnings are coming in. Tesla has been all over the place. I'm sure you've heard about all the tech sector craziness. I'm going to show you how to make some predictions that are going to be more like gambling. I'm going to show you how I personally deal with earnings season myself. So let's jump right into that. Welcome back, my passive income investors. Like today is an awesome, wonderful day because we got earnings seasons. You notice, guys, I haven't talked about earnings. I don't mention earnings. I try and float through it without paying as little attention as possible until the headwinds kind of blow over. Now, if you are one of those people that are day traders, swing traders, and you think you can be better than earnings, I want you to let me know in the comments section below, because I don't think long-term anybody has done well playing earnings. I know so many YouTubers out there, like Financial Education's a definite good example of that. I remember he always tells stories about how he used to do margin trading and he used to try and play earnings. And even though earnings can be good, that doesn't always imply the stock is going to go up. If I can give you one example on why you shouldn't really play with predictions on earnings, and don't worry, by the end of this video, guys, I'm going to take you over to my own personal six-figure account, and we're going to look at how earnings has personally been affecting my own portfolio. But trust me, in this time, guys, you want to bunker down, you want to jump in the closet, and you don't want to try and screw with this. I do not know one trader that over a long period of time has made any real money playing earnings. I am a long-term passive income investor. As you guys know, I like making decisions that will go for a few years. And as earnings seasons come and go, what I try and pay attention to more is, does the story remain the same? Is the reason I brought the stock the same now as it was? And is this company still trying to stay focused and stay on track? So let me give you an example of, we'll start with Microsoft, for instance. Microsoft is a company that before earnings just kept running up. It started to go all the way from the 130s. It hit 139 going into earnings. Earnings came out, it smashed earnings. What happened? If you were buying into that earnings rally, well, it all got valued in pre-market, and then earnings came out, and then people were like, oh, there's no one else to buy. It's all valued in, and then people started taking profits. So it's really hard to gauge. I know people right now trying to take the same thing and apply it to Apple because it looks like Apple is going to run into the same set of circumstances. So you can try and play these cyclical cycles that happen in these very brief moments of patterns, but to try and predict what's going to happen to the stock while earnings are coming up, unless you have some insider information, you know that company's going to tank and you think you can short it into the ground. But even then, that's still so speculative. The way I have been trading stocks, let me give you an example of a company like Brookfield Real Estate Services. It's not even called that anymore. It got bought out for less than it was worth. But that company was one that I started trading around with, and I thought I liked it a lot because it was a really kind of high dividend yield. It was specific realtors in Canada that deal with real estate, and they're just the realtors, right? And I always remember hearing Warren Buffett say, oh, well, everyone's always going to need a realtor. But as time has gone on, the way I've heard the story has changed a lot. As I started looking at their balance sheet, they were underwater consistently. On top of that, you also had people using Facebook to sell homes. My mom's friends sold their home on Facebook, of all places. And then you have Zillow? You have all these things now, and these tools to help people buy and deal with real estate almost privately. And now that they're coming up with new ways of dealing with blockchain, and Facebook's doing their own currency, you're going to start finding ways of not using escrow. And if you don't know what escrow is, they're middle management companies that deal with money transferring with lawyers and all this stuff. My bank advisor actually thinks blockchain is going to be the reason we might actually end up losing these mortgage, these kind of brokers that deal with these deals like escrow does. But it's a really cool thing. So when I learned about all of that, all of a sudden my story around Brookfield changed. And even though Brookfield was trying to expand, I just saw it as a dying market, and I don't know, my story around it changed. So I had to get out. And earnings didn't really care for me too much, but it was an effect. Even though the company was down, it wasn't the reason that I sold it, guys. It's the same reason I'm holding Tesla, and I don't want to talk about tech too much, because you guys, I'm sure, hear about all the crazy tech stuff on YouTube all the time. It's all anyone talks about is Facebook, this, that. So I try and talk about some stuff that's a little different to mix it up for you guys and give you something a little bit more refreshing. But we'll head over to my own personal computer. We're going to look at my six-figure portfolio, guys, and I'm going to show you how earnings personally is affecting my portfolio. But I really want you to let me know in the comment section below if you have ever traded on earnings and how it's personally affected you. But yeah, come on, guys. Let's just go over there. It's easier when we look at the personal portfolio. Alrighty, guys, here we are, here we sit. We're going to analyze the 3 accounts, and if you're new to this channel, I'm not going to explain to you what all these accounts are about in this video. I just specifically want to focus on earnings and talk about earnings, and we're going to look at all 3 of my accounts, starting with the tax-free savings account. All the money in here is tax-free. We got some dividends still waiting to come in, guys. We get some tomorrow, and then they all finish up by the end of this month. I think on the 30th, I get 2 dividend payments from Microsoft and the Apple. I think, don't quote me on that, but those are some of the payments that I can't remember about my dividends. I'm having a breakdown here, guys. All I know is I'll be making about $500 in dividends this month, and the rest of them will be coming in soon, which I will plan on purchasing some stocks very shortly with that money as well. But let's take a quick peek here, guys. We have Canadian Imperial Bank earnings is going to be coming up very soon. Most of the Canadian stocks, I don't think, release earnings till the quarter end. So that's usually in August is when they start pumping out any annual reports or quarterly reports. So we're going to have to patiently wait to hope that the banks will show some half decent numbers, even if it's a miss, so long as it's not terrible. Because right now I think we're sitting at the very bottom for banks. And I think if we can just get a little bit of good news, it'll pressure us high enough to the point where I can start leveraging down in some of these oversized positions. Because like I said in the past, I think I have a little too much exposure to these banks. Not that I'm worried about it at all. I'm patient. There's no rush. There's just some other companies I'd like to own to continue diversifying. Northland Power doesn't come out with earnings until, let's take a look here. August 7th. Let me see here the important ones. If we go to the Canadian Imperial Bank, like I was just saying, we can see August 22nd for earnings for the quarter end for July 31st. We got Apple coming out, which is a big one, July 30th. And then we got the most important one that I'm going to be paying attention to is GEO coming out July 30th. Oh my God, it's going to be an exciting few days, guys. So anyways, those are for the banks here. Here's GEO Group I was just talking about, guys. This has been one of the stocks that I have been analyzing galore. Just patiently waiting for a bottom. We broke trend, so the stock is going to continue downwards by the looks of it. And I'm just going to sit here and patiently watch and just wait to see where it finds a bottom. And on my trend line is going to be somewhere around here. I honestly think we're getting close to the bottom now. But we'll just keep watching and keep an eye out. I won't buy this until I see a confirmation of a bottoming, which essentially just means if the stock starts to turn around a little bit and it's showing that it's picking up momentum and the news is changing. But honestly, for the next 2 years, I think we're going to see some crazy headwinds with this company. So I really want to see where it levels out, and then I'll probably purchase a few more shares just to bring my cost average down. So that's why I'm excited, just to make sure earnings stays on par, make sure the story remains the same, and just make sure the company's continuing to have a healthy balance sheet, just to make sure this dividend keeps coming in during these political times. I picked a really bad time to be buying this stock, but when I went into it, this was before. Remember, this was right after they got a $100 million pay bump. You know, this was before these political uprunners were saying we're going to get rid of private prisons. But like I said, I got into this understanding what would be happening. So I'm just sitting patiently and just watching and making sure the story doesn't change too much and everything keeps trucking along. Now, here's the one that I was just talking about, guys, Microsoft. It came out with earnings and nothing happened. It just seems to continue this uptrend. But earnings hasn't really affected this much. It kind of regained all its value into earnings, like I said. And when you're playing earnings, guys, it can be very, very, very risky. It's one of the riskiest things I think you can do. But like I said, I'm just going to keep watching Microsoft. I like that it keeps rallying and it keeps going. And both of my tech stocks here are doing very, very well. And then here's my U.S. utility, Southern Company, which I can't remember when does this come out with earnings. It might have already. I'll have to look. I'm not sure about the earnings on this one. If it did, you can let me know in the comment section below, because I'm just not going to look it up in this very moment. But that is just for the tax-free savings account. We got some dividends coming in soon. By the end of this month, guys, we'll have over $500 in dividends, which I will be looking to reallocate probably into GEO or BTI or MO. One of those three, but we'll see what one I decide when the time arises. You guys will know for sure. So consider subscribing if you enjoy this kind of content. Now, here we go, guys, with the managed account. These stocks in here are pretty much the same. We got BTI. Here's some of my positioning in MO. BTI has been doing pretty well in this account. Now that they come out with financing and stuff, like there's always like one account that I have that just laggers for some reason. Scotia iTrade has been a little sloppy with me when it comes to making videos live and trying to get these stupid things to open. But anyways, we all know what's going on with Tesla, guys. They came out with earnings. They missed. But if we look over the long term, their debts have come down huge. The amount of money they're losing has come down huge. The story really hasn't changed too much for me. And we're only holding on to Tesla on the assumption that, oh my goodness, it just worked. We're only holding Tesla on the assumption that one day self-driving cars are going to come into regulation. And the day that happens, Tesla will be at the forefront. That story hasn't changed, and that is the story that I'm still going to hold on to the company for. It is the highest risk investment I think you can make today, because there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. But if there was one man that was going to pull it off, it would be the Elon Musk. So all we can do is hope and pray and hold a little bit just to help support the guy. But I'm not selling my shares. Like I said, I would plan on buying more, but just because of the craziness going on with my life, I just need to try and get these as mitigated into my tax-free savings account as soon as possible. And the way I'll do that is by selling off way over leveraged positions. I just want everything in my TFSA that I absolutely love, like BTI, MO, and Tesla. I just need to get them into that account. I'm going to liquidate all of this, and I'm going to take this money and we're going to start looking for other investments outside the stock market to try and avoid paying tax. Like I said, you're gonna have to subscribe for me to get further into this. But in my final account, we can see the indexes are actually up overall. So this is the RRSP, guys, and I've just been shocked that this has been able to get up, literally. And of course, now it's not going to open. It's so funny how this platform works sometimes. But VFV, guys, if you don't know, is a Vanguard index. My RSP, I'm going to use this money to buy property down the road, and then I just want to park it somewhere safe for the time being in a non-tax affected account. So in this account, I'm not paying any tax on this money going into the account, and I'm just going to patiently let it sit and hopefully grow a little bit over time. So when I decide to pull this money out, I'll be able to buy a property, is what I'm attempting to do with this as it finally opens up. Now, this represents the overall S&P 500 index, and I like owning this. It kind of represents my overall portfolio because my portfolio has just been just as flat as this account looks right here, as this whole little thing. Like I was up great, and then for the last year and a bit, I've been quite flat overall. But it looks like the index has been doing better than I have lately to an extent. But you never know what long-term brings. So I'm just going to sit here with this money, guys. Earnings don't really come out for Vanguard, but it's nice to see that the indice is still holding up into earnings season, which means earnings are usually pretty good. It's a good indicator that things are okay, and things are going to keep trucking along. So other than that, there's not much I can tell you about earnings, guys, other than you really want to make sure the EPS is at least somewhere around expectations, and if they're not, you really have to ask yourself why. And it hasn't changed anything in my portfolio. The account still sits right around 112,000. I'm actually up overall. And yeah, just to patiently sits because Apple has been doing so well, and same with Microsoft. So compared to my GEO, it really hasn't been affecting too much. Honestly, though, guys, I want to say with GEO, we got to be getting close to the bottom here. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to give you financial advice. This is my own personal financial independent retired journey, my FIRE journey, my financial independence retire early journey here, guys. And I want to try and show you what is possible out there, and I will fight tooth and nail to try and prove to you guys that what I'm doing is possible. I really hope you enjoyed the video yesterday. Everyone seems to be really enjoying. I posted a video about passive income, and it's right here, and I think you guys should go and watch it. It was really, really well done in my opinion. I thought I did a good job on it, just to toot my own horn. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay cool, stay awesome. I hope earnings treats you well.